On the initial verse, the Buddha in his wisdom gave teachings that were partial or complete. He divided teachings in great and small. The great Dharma gives the true teaching, so it is complete. It is retaining and upholding of all Dharma. Obviously, as you all know, that is the great Dharma. Then the Buddha has always wanted to do that. The limited teachings of two vehicles are the partial teachings given according to others' capabilities. So when I read this initial verse, I reflect upon myself that I have also limited capabilities, and therefore as a householder, how would then I apply that to myself, which I will share with you right at the end on the contemplation. To freely express its original intent in accordance with his own words and wishes, he would explain the principles completely. So much that I try to understand the sutra. Obviously, I got to realize that I may not be able to fully understand deeply the teachings. So I got to be very mindful of what I understand. So the true Dharma gives the true and complete teachings, hoping we can return to our pure nature through suchness. And returning is returning. Returning means you can't return unless there is something you already have. So that's the reason why the true suchness is within us. But if it is within us, then what is there for us to attain? If you already have, what is there to attain? But except to remove what you already have and piling on top of what you have. So we must uphold all the world transcending, which is Dharma. The limited teachings of the vehicles are the partial teachings. And the partial teachings because our capabilities are limited because we cling on to our own self-views, how life should be, how the world should be, and how I should be. So after the Buddha attained enlightenment, he went to seek the five executive practitioners. As you all know, the story that they were already practicing, the five executive were practicing with the Buddha before he attained enlightenment. It's only when he decided to get up and realize that starving himself right to death is not going to work. And but when the Buddha went to look for the five executive practitioners, they noticed the aura was different. Although they were suspicious apprehensive and suspicious, that's because, again, it's like having the truth in front of us, but we are suspicious. So that equally applies to me, that when I have the teachings, I would then try to discern that, or even if someone were to tell me and explain to me what things are. So that's the nature of the mind that we have. So the five spontaneously knelt and bowed to the Buddha, and the Buddha shared his experience of his recent mindset, which is ultimately attained enlightenment. So after listening, some understood, some did not even have a partial understanding. It's the same thing that sometimes I listen to a teaching. Like a very good example is a very short sutra, the Heart Sutra. I'm still trying to understand it fully. And I read it so many times. I recite it, and I'm still trying to learn. And I'm not sure whether I will have a partial understanding of the Heart Sutra. So this is what why the teaching of the truth has to be well understood. It cannot be taught. Cannot be taught because the worldly words are limited. So the Buddha had explained it 3 times on the Four Noble Truth. And so the 3 turnings of the Dharma view are the Four Noble Truth for these 5 executive practitioners. Then he realized that he slowly is transforming with the great Dharma. And he realized that even for those 5 executive practitioners who have been practicing a lot compared to ordinary beings like ourselves. So then he realized that the great Dharma cannot be easily taught. So the lessons learned is abiding in Dharma. He contemplated for 3 weeks how past Buddhas have decided to make use of skillful means. And I think the 3 weeks also must refer to the Avatamsaka period, which is 21 days. And after delivering that on the state of enlightenment, he realized that even at the state of development of the mind of those invisible beings, they have difficulty understanding that, let alone for people like unenlightened minds, how well they understand. So, and after meeting with five ascetics, I guess it confirmed what he was concerned about. So the skillful means taught in other teachings were outside the true essence, because we unenlightened beings were unable to accept that, but gradually we have to. So these are other teachings and use worldly phenomena as analogies to convey the Buddha's wondrous teachings. And these are the example of the parables. I understand the Lotus Sutra, altogether 7 parables, and the 3 cuts is one of them. So lean and haggard appearance means those practicing the 2 vehicle teachings do not cultivate dignified marks or characteristic, for only they speak of suffering, impermanence, no soul, and purity. So they have not yet cultivated the perfect marks. And the perfect marks, this is obviously a metaphor explaining how much one has realized. And obviously in this metaphor, the poor son being lean and haggard in appearance, meaning hasn't fully realized the teachings. Although obviously, as Master has mentioned before, for the Buddha, there are 32 marks. So the fourfold fearlessness comes from thorough understanding of the Buddha Dharma. And this fourfold fearlessness, fearlessness of the wisdom of all Dharma, they understand the whole truth, and then all leads so that we are no longer retreating or regressing in our practice. Fearlessness of explaining hindrances of spiritual cultivation. And this is having understood what these hindrances are. The hindrances is not about what the obstacles we come across in a life of practice. We will have obstacles. The question is, what is a hindrance in the mind of cultivation? So fearlessness of explaining the path of ending suffering. And then this is the one then the state of enlightenment, the various states of enlightenment from arahathood and to bodhisattvahood. So in contemplation, what is in it as us as householders, we live this worldly life. What are hindrances that we face, and what are the limitations that we have to deal with? So worldly ways are filled with bells and whistles, hiding the ill intention of the worldly mastermind. And I think you can see what is already happening in the world right now. There's a lot of diseases which are happening, and this is the way the world works, and our mind can influence by the way the world works. So therefore we got to really then observe what we should do. So know that Mara is in everyone. Ordinary minds are easily deceived by the shades of power that they are wearing, thinking they are in a great platform of influence. Don't we? When we see a great person of influence, and we tend to gravitate towards them. So not realizing they are in the pedestal of deceit, which is looking at the world, what is happening right now. The world is now fraught with worries and anxiety from the actions of such. Especially by the wealthy and the powerful. Now, interestingly, I was listening to a talk last night by a fairly renowned analyst, and it says that actually the way the world works now is actually controlled by about 1,000 powerful people, but there were 7.7 billion people, and that's an interesting understanding how the world works right now. So now that you know the Dharma, be aware and mindful of your precious life, because this is only this precious life that we earned to be here. So we've got to practice and understand our mind to correct our mind. So on relationships, very similarly, having a cordial relationship, and all relationship that we have, we always meet challenges. So when one realizes that one is born to die, and the dawn of that is looming ahead, I mean, the day we are born is the day that we are. We will die. We seekable ask what the purpose of life is, and I think um, I'm sure that over a period of time you've seen your friends, people you know, they have their life have ended, and reflect upon how they have lived their life. So there are some lessons for us then to reflect upon ourselves. So how has your relationship been? Because we don't know until right at the end, at the last spur of the moment, there's so flashes that comes by, and that realization that may come to you, but it's too late at that time. So be cordial, and that's what we should be doing in our relationships, no matter how difficult it may be. So an evolved practitioner will ask how one's life can benefit others, which is what Master have been teaching us in the Bodhisattva path. So an ordinary mind will just enjoy life. Okay, all right. Brother, thanks. Princess, thank you.
Kanan, BrotherChin, for the wonderful summary for us to take note of today. Kanan